I am Marcus James. I've been working the night audit shift at the Crestview Inn for 6 years now. It's a 2-story roadside place off Highway 9, the kind with exterior doors that face the parking lot. 48 rooms total. On weeknights, maybe 15 are occupied. The building is old. The carpets are worn. The ice machine on the second floor hums too loud. My shift starts at 11 p.m. and ends at 7 a.m. Most nights, nothing happens. I check people in. I run the audit reports. I watch the security monitors. The lobby is always too bright. And outside, the parking lot is always too dark. It was a Tuesday in November when the man in 214 checked in. He arrived around midnight. I heard his car pull up, the engine ticking as it cooled. He came through the glass doors carrying a black duffel bag. He was maybe 50, thin, wearing a grey jacket that looked too big for him. His hair was combed neat, but his eyes looked tired. He didn't smile. "I need a room," he said. "Second floor, away from the stairs." I nodded. I gave him 214. It's at the far end of the building, past the ice machine, past the vending area. He paid cash. Didn't give me a name at first. I had to ask twice. "Russell," he said finally. "Tom Russell." He took the key card and left. I watched him on the monitor as he climbed the exterior stairs. He walked slowly. He kept looking back at the parking lot. An hour passed. I was restocking coffee filters in the breakfast area when the phone at the front desk rang. I walked back, picked it up. "Front desk, this is Marcus." Silence, then breathing. "Hello?" I said. "He's here." A man's voice, quiet, shaking. "Who is this?" "Room 214. He's outside my door." I pulled up the camera feed for the second floor hallway. The screen flickered. The angle showed the long corridor, the ice machine, the vending machines, the doors. I didn't see anyone. "Sir, I'm not seeing anyone on the cameras right now." "He's right outside," the man said. His voice was a whisper now. "I can see his shadow under the door. He's just standing there." I kept watching the screen. The hallway was empty. The fluorescent lights buzzed. A moth circled near the ice machine. "I'm going to come up and check," I said. "No, don't open the door. Don't let him see you. Sir, if someone is bothering you, I need to." He hung up. I stood there holding the phone. The lobby was too quiet. Outside, a semi-truck passed on the highway, its engine fading into the distance. I looked at the monitor again. Still nothing. I grabbed the master key card and walked outside. The air was cold. My breath came out in clouds. I climbed the exterior stairs, my shoes scraping on the concrete. At the top, I stopped. The hallway stretched ahead of me, long, empty. The ice machine hummed. Room 214 was at the far end. The door was closed. I walked toward it, my footsteps echoing. I stopped outside 214. I listened. I didn't hear anything. I knocked. "Mr. Russell?" "This is Marcus from the front desk." No answer. I knocked again. "Sir, you called about someone outside your door. I'm here to check." Still nothing. I used the master key. The lock clicked. I pushed the door open slowly. The room was dark, except for the light from the bathroom. The bed was made. The TV was off. Tom Russell was sitting in the chair by the window. He was staring at the door. His hands were gripping the armrests. "Mr. Russell?" He didn't move, didn't blink. "Sir, are you all right? Did you see him?" he asked. His voice was flat. "There's no one out there." "He was there. He followed me. From Ohio. He's been following me for 3 weeks." I stepped into the room. The air felt heavy. The curtains were drawn tight. "Who's following you?" "I don't know his name." He started showing up at my work, then outside my apartment, then on the road. Every hotel I stop at, he shows up. He doesn't do anything, he just watches. I didn't know what to say. I looked around the room. The duffel bag was on the bed, still zipped. The man hadn't unpacked. Have you called the police? They can't do anything. He doesn't break any laws. He just stands there. I walked to the window and pulled the curtain back an inch. The parking lot was mostly empty. A few cars scattered under the yellow lights. I didn't see anyone standing outside. There's no one out there now, I said. Tom Russell stood up. He walked past me to the door and looked through the peephole. He stood there for a long time. Lock the door when I leave, I said. If you see him again, call me right away. He nodded, but didn't look at me. I left the room and walked back down the hallway. The fluorescent lights flickered. The ice machine hummed. I took the stairs back down to the lobby and sat at the desk. On the monitor, I could see the second floor hallway. Empty. I watched it for a while. At 3 a.m., the phone rang again. Front desk. He's back. Tom Russell's voice, barely a whisper. Where? The parking lot. He's standing by the blue sedan, just standing there, looking up at my window. I switched the camera to the parking lot feed. I scanned the cars. I saw the blue sedan, an old Buick, parked 3 spaces from the stairs. No one was standing near it. Mr. Russell, I'm not seeing anyone. He's there. I kept watching. The camera angle wasn't perfect. There were shadows between the cars. The lights created dark pockets. I stared at the screen until my eyes hurt. Then I saw it. A shape. Standing behind the Buick. Not moving. Just a silhouette in the shadow. Tall. Thin. Wearing something dark. My chest tightened. I leaned closer to the monitor. The shape didn't move. It could have been a person. It could have been a shadow from the building. The camera quality was poor. The timestamp at the bottom of the screen blinked. I see something, I said. Stay in your room. I'm going to go outside. Don't, he said. Don't go near him. I'm just going to check. I hung up. I walked to the glass doors. I pushed them open. The cold air hit me. I stepped into the parking lot. My heart was beating too fast. I walked toward the blue sedan. My shoes crunched on the gravel. I reached the car. I looked around it, behind it, between it and the next car. Nothing. No one. I stood there in the cold. The highway was quiet. A light rain started to fall. I looked up at the second floor. Room 214's curtain moved, just slightly. I walked back inside. I sat at the desk. I called room 214. Tom Russell answered on the first ring. He's gone, I said. He'll be back. Sir, I think you should. He hung up. The rest of the night passed slowly. I watched the monitors. I checked the hallway feed every few minutes. At 6:30 a.m., I saw Tom Russell leave his room. He was carrying his duffel bag. He walked down the stairs and got into his car. He didn't check out. He just drove away. I checked the parking lot camera. The blue sedan was still there. It stayed there for 3 more days. No one ever came to get it. I am Sarah Brennan. I work night audit at the Pinewood Suites, a extended stay hotel on the east side of town. 3 floors, 80 rooms. Most of our guests stay for weeks at a time. Construction workers, insurance adjusters, people between apartments. The lobby smells like coffee and cleaning solution. The fluorescent lights hum all night. I've been doing this job for 4 years. I know the regulars. I know who pays on time and who doesn't. I know who drinks too much and who works double shifts. It's the same people, the same routines. That's how I like it. The woman in 307 checked in on a Sunday night in March. She arrived around 1 a.m. I was doing paperwork when I heard the lobby door open. She was maybe 35. Blonde hair pulled back in a ponytail. She wore jeans and a black sweater. She was carrying a purse and a small rolling suitcase. No coat, even though it was 30 degrees outside. "I need a room," she said. Her voice was steady, but her hands were shaking. "How many nights?" "Just one, maybe two." I ran her credit card. Her name was Linda Marsh. The card went through. I gave her a key to 307, third floor, quiet side of the building. "Breakfast starts at 6, I said. "Ice and vending are on each floor." She nodded and took the key. She didn't say thank you. She just walked to the elevator. I watched her on the monitor as she rode up. She kept looking at her phone. Her face was tight. 2 hours passed. I was cleaning the coffee station when I heard footsteps. I looked up. Linda Marsh was standing in the lobby. She was still wearing the same clothes. Her hair was messier now. "Is everything okay with your room?" I asked. "It's fine. I need to ask you something." "Sure. If someone comes here looking for me, can you tell them I'm not here?" I set down the coffee pot. I looked at her. Her eyes were red. She'd been crying. "Ma'am, I can't give out guest information to anyone. That's our policy." "No, I mean, if someone comes and asks if I'm staying here, can you just say no? Can you say you've never seen me? I've worked front desk long enough to know when someone is running. I've seen it before. Women with bruises they try to hide. Men who pay cash and use fake names. People who check in through the back entrance. If someone calls asking for you, I won't connect them to your room," I said. "But if someone comes here in person, I have to follow our procedures. If there's a safety concern, you should call the police." She shook her head quickly. No police. I just need a place to sleep. Just for tonight." "Okay." She stood there for a moment longer, then turned and walked back to the elevator. I watched her go. The lobby felt colder after she left. At 4 a.m., a car pulled into the parking lot. I noticed it on the monitor. A dark SUV. It drove slowly through the lot, past the ground floor rooms, then circled back. It parked near the side entrance, away from the lights. The engine stayed running. I couldn't see who was inside. The windows were tinted. I watched it for 10 minutes. It didn't move, just sat there idling. White exhaust drifted up into the dark. Then the driver's door opened. A man got out, tall, heavy build. He wore a jacket and a baseball cap pulled low. He looked up at the building. He stood by the car for a moment, then walked toward the side entrance. I stood up from the desk. The side entrance is locked at night. Guests need a key card to get in. I watched the monitor. The man tried the door. It didn't open. He tried it again, pulling harder. Then he stepped back and looked up at the third floor. He walked around the building to the front entrance. I heard the glass door open. He came into the lobby. He was bigger up close, 40 maybe. His jaw was tight. His eyes scanned the lobby, then landed on me. "Help you?" I said. "Yeah, I'm looking for my wife, Linda Marsh. Is she staying here?" I kept my face neutral. "I can't give out information about our guests, sir. I just need to know if she's here. I'm her husband." "I understand, but I still can't release that information. If you'd like, I can call her room and see if she wants to come down." His expression changed. Something hardened in his eyes. "So she is here." "Sir, I didn't say that. You just said you could call her room." I realized my mistake. My chest tightened. I kept my voice steady. "I can try calling any name you give me, but that doesn't mean the person is registered here." He stared at me. The lobby was too quiet. The coffee maker burbled in the corner. Outside, His SUV was still running. "Call her room," he said. "Sir, if there's a family situation, I really think, call her room." I picked up the phone. I dialed 307. It rang 4 times, then went to voicemail. I hung up. "No answer," I said. "Try again." "Sir, she's not answering. If you want, you can wait in the lobby, and I'll leave a message that you're—" "What room is she in?" "I can't tell you that." He leaned on the counter. He was close enough that I could smell cigarettes and coffee on his breath. "Listen to me. That's my wife. I paid for her phone. I pay for her car. I have every right to know where she is. Sir, I need you to step back." He didn't move. His hands were flat on the counter. His knuckles were scarred. "I'm not leaving until I see her." I reached under the desk and pressed the silent alarm button. It's connected to the local police station. Response time is usually 10 minutes. "I'm going to have to ask you to leave," I said. "If you don't, I'll call the police." "Go ahead, call them. I'm her husband. I'm not doing anything wrong." He walked away from the counter and sat down in one of the lobby chairs. He pulled out his phone and started typing. He didn't look at me. I called 911. I told them the situation. They said an officer was on the way. The man didn't move. He just sat there, scrolling through his phone. 5 minutes passed. 10. I kept watching the monitors. His SUV was still running outside. Then I saw movement on the 3rd floor camera. Linda Marsh was standing in the hallway. She was looking toward the elevator. She was holding her suitcase. My heart sank. She was going to try to leave. I picked up the phone and called 307 again. No answer. I watched the monitor. She pressed the elevator button. The doors opened. She got in. "No," I whispered. The man in the lobby looked up. He saw me watching the monitor. He stood up. The elevator started coming down. 3rd floor, 2nd floor, 1st floor. The doors opened. Linda stepped out. She saw him immediately. She froze. "Linda," he said. His voice was soft now, almost gentle. "Baby, let's just talk." She backed toward the elevator, but the doors had already closed. "I don't want to talk," she said. Her voice was shaking. "I told you I needed space. You took my car. You took money from our account. You can't just leave like that. I can leave whenever I want." He took a step toward her. She moved toward the front desk, toward me. "Sir, you need to wait outside," I said. "The police are on their way." He ignored me. He kept his eyes on Linda. "I just want you to come home. We can work this out." "There's nothing to work out. Linda, please." The front door opened. A police officer walked in. Young guy, hand resting on his belt. "Evening," he said. "We got a call about a disturbance." The man turned. His whole posture changed. His voice got calmer. "No disturbance, officer. Just talking to my wife." The officer looked at Linda. "Ma'am, is everything all right?" She was crying now. "I want him to leave. I don't want to talk to him." The officer nodded. He looked at the man. "Sir, I'm going to need you to leave the property. This is ridiculous. She's my wife. That doesn't matter. She's asked you to leave. If you don't go, I'll arrest you for trespassing." The man stared at Linda for a long moment. Then he shook his head and walked toward the door. "This isn't over," he said. He left. Through the window, I watched him get in his SUV. He sat there for a minute, then drove away. The officer stayed. He talked to Linda for a while. He gave her a card. He told her to call if the man came back. After he left, Linda stood in the lobby. She was still holding her suitcase. "I'm sorry," she said. "I didn't mean to cause trouble. It's not your fault. I should leave. I don't want him coming back here. You paid for the room. You can stay." She looked at me. Her eyes were exhausted. "Will you call me if you see his car again?" "Yes." She went back upstairs. I watched the monitors all night. The parking lot stayed empty. At 7 a.m., my shift ended. The day clerk came in. I told her what happened. I told her to watch for the SUV. Linda Marsh checked out 2 days later. I wasn't working when she left. I hope she made it somewhere safe. But I still think about that SUV. How it sat there in the dark. Engine running. Just waiting. I am Derek Paulson. I work night audit at the Riverside Hotel downtown. It's an old building, 8 floors, built in 1962. The elevator shakes when it moves. The radiators clank. The windows don't seal right, so you can hear traffic from the street, even on the upper floors. We get business travelers mostly, sometimes tourists, sometimes people who just need a cheap place to stay. I've been on night audit here for 3 years, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., 5 nights a week. I know every sound this building makes, the way the pipes groan at 2 a.m., the way the ice machine on the 4th floor clicks off at 3, the way the front door scrapes against the frame when the wind blows. It was a Thursday in October when I first saw the name in the system. I was running the night audit report. It's something I do every night at around 2:30 a.m. I pull up the list of occupied rooms. I check for any billing errors. I make sure all the charges are posted correctly. It's boring work, but it has to be done. I was scrolling through the list when I saw it. Room 712. Guest name, Henry Coleman. Check-in date, October 18th. That was tonight. But I'd been at the desk since 11, and no one had checked in. I would have remembered. The only arrival we had was a couple in room 304, and they'd come in around midnight. I frowned at the screen. Sometimes the system glitches. Sometimes reservations get duplicated or posted to the wrong date. I clicked on the reservation to see the details. Payment method, cash. Check-in time, 11:47 p.m. Checked in by Derek P. My name. I had checked him in, except I hadn't. I'd been at the desk all night. The couple in 304 were the only people I'd seen. I picked up the phone and called room 712. It rang 6 times, then went to voicemail. The automated voice said the guest was unavailable. I hung up. I pulled up the camera feed for the 7th floor. The hallway was empty. The lights were dim. Our cameras aren't great. The image is grainy and the frame rate is slow, but I could see well enough. No one was in the hallway. I looked at the keycard log. It shows every time a keycard is used to enter a room. According to the log, the key for 712 had been used at 11:52 p.m., 5 minutes after check-in. That made sense if someone had actually checked in. But I hadn't checked anyone in. I sat there staring at the screen. The lobby was quiet. Outside, a car passed on the street. Its headlights swept across the windows. I decided to go up and check. I took the elevator to the 7th floor. It climbed slowly, the cables creaking. The doors opened with a ding that echoed down the hallway. I stepped out. The carpet was worn and faded. The wallpaper was peeling near the ceiling. Room 712 was at the end of the hall, past the ice machine, past the emergency exit. I walked slowly. My shoes made no sound on the carpet. I could hear the radiator hissing on the wall. When I reached 712, I stopped. I listened. I didn't hear anything. No TV, no voices, no movement. I knocked. Hotel staff. Just checking on the room. No answer. I knocked again. "Sir, this is the front desk. I need to verify your check-in." Still nothing. I used my master key card. The lock clicked. I pushed the door open. The room was dark, except for the light from the hallway. I found the light switch and flipped it on. The room was empty. The bed was made. The curtains were closed. The bathroom door was open. I checked inside. Nothing. No luggage. No personal items. No sign anyone had been there. But the air felt wrong. It was too cold, and there was a smell. Faint, like old cigarettes and something else. Something stale. I checked the closet. Empty. I checked under the bed. Nothing. I stood in the middle of the room and looked around. Everything was in place. The towels were folded. The bedspread was smooth, but something felt off. I left the room and pulled the door closed. It locked automatically. I walked back to the elevator. When I reached the lobby, I sat down at the desk and pulled up the reservation again. Henry Coleman, room 712. I typed the name into our guest history. The system searched. It took a moment, then a list appeared. Henry Coleman had stayed here before, multiple times. I scrolled through the entries. May 2019, August 2020, November 2021, March 2023. Always the same room, always 712. Always checked in late at night. Always paid cash. I clicked on the most recent entry, March 14th, 2023. I looked at the notes section. There was one note, added by the day shift manager. Guest passed away in room during stay. Police and coroner notified. Room cleaned and cleared the 15th of March 2023. My stomach tightened. I read it again. Henry Coleman had died here, in room 712, a year and a half ago. I checked the reservation in the system again. Check-in date, October 18th, 2024. Tonight. Checked in by me, but that was impossible. I called my manager. It was almost 3 a.m., but I didn't care. He answered on the 5th ring. His voice was thick with sleep. This better be important. It's Derek. I've got a situation. The system shows someone checked into 712 tonight, but I didn't check anyone in. And the guest name? He died here last year. Silence on the other end. Then, what? I explained it again. The reservation, the name, the guest history. My manager was quiet for a long time. You sure you didn't check someone in and forget? I'm sure. I've been at the desk all night. The only arrival was room 304. Maybe it's a system error. A duplicate reservation or something. It shows I checked him in. It shows the key card was used. More silence. Then go back up to the room. See if anyone's there now. I already checked. It's empty. Check again. I hung up. I took the elevator back to the 7th floor. The hallway was the same. Empty. Dim. I walked to 712. I stood outside the door and listened. Nothing. I knocked anyway. Front desk. No response. I used my key card again. The door opened. I turned on the light. The room was exactly as I'd left it, except for one thing. The bedspread was wrinkled, like someone had been sitting on it. I walked closer. There was an indentation, a person-sized impression near the foot of the bed. I reached out and touched the spot. It was warm. I pulled my hand back. My heart was beating too fast. I looked around the room. The bathroom was still empty. The closet was still empty. But someone had been here. Someone had been sitting on the bed. I backed toward the door. I turned off the light and left. I didn't run, but I walked fast. When I reached the elevator, I pressed the button 3 times. The doors opened. I got in and rode down to the lobby. I sat at the desk. I pulled up the key card log again. The key for 712 had been used 2 more times. Once at 2:34 a.m., once at 2:56 a.m., just now, while I was up there. But I was the only one who went up. I was the only one with a master key. I checked the camera feed. I rewound it to 2:34 a.m. I watched the 7th floor hallway. At 2:34, nothing happened. The hallway stayed empty, but according to the log, someone had used a keycard to enter the room at that exact moment. I sat there for the rest of the night. I didn't go back up to the 7th floor. I watched the monitors. I watched the lobby. I watched the street outside. At 6 a.m., the sky started to get light. At 7, the day clerk came in. "How was the night?" she asked. "Quiet," I said. I didn't tell her about room 712. I didn't tell her about Henry Coleman. I just gathered my things and left. The next night, I came in for my shift. I checked the system. Room 712 was listed as vacant. Henry Coleman had checked out at 6 a.m. Automatic checkout. No one at the desk. The room had checked itself out. I pulled up the billing. 0 charges. No room rate, no taxes, nothing. Like the reservation had never existed. But I know it did. I saw the name. I saw the room. I felt the warm spot on the bed. I still work night audit at the Riverside Hotel. I still run the reports every night. And sometimes, when I'm scrolling through the occupied rooms, I see his name again. Henry Coleman, room 712. Checked in late. Paid cash. When I see it, I don't go up to check. I don't call the room. I just let him be. Some guests don't want to leave. Even after they're gone, the building is old. The elevator still shakes. The radiators still clank. And on the 7th floor, in room 712, sometimes the keycard log shows activity in the middle of the night. I just mark it as a system error and keep working. It's easier that way.